So when you go on YouTube and you find people's horror manga recommendations, you'll usually find the likes of any Junji Ito collection, any story made by him, Parasite, or whatever is popular in the last month and a half that will be included in the recommendation. But there's one that always would land in a recommendation that would intrigue me just because of the story alone of how they would describe it. It's called Drifting Classroom. And I thought, okay, a story about a whole school of people being transported into the future. That sounds good. That sounds dope. That sounds awesome. Let me give it a read. I am so down for that. So this past week, I decided to pick up Drifting Classroom, and it does not deserve the spot in a lot of people's recommendations. And I'm going to tell you why. Now, I'm not saying that my recommendations have to be the same as other people's, but I feel as though the credit that this is given is not deserved. It's not deserved in my opinion. It is 42 chapters, and mind you, these chapters are thick. They're not simple 26 pages or 17 pages. Granted, some of them are, but those are the ones that don't really include a lot of story. It's mostly just like, we needed a chapter this week, but we couldn't think of anything with a story, so we just threw action in this. You like that, right? You like the action. You like seeing little kids fight each other to the death. You like to see a monster try and kill children. You like that, don't you? You like it, you fucking nerd. And that's all it was with those small chapters. It was just a fighting scene between the two classes, or inner fighting between the government they created. And those chapters, you really knew they just didn't have shit to say. They didn't have shit to say with that release. They're like, fuck. Yeah, we gotta put out something. How about a fucking fight scene? Sure. That's what got released. And those chapters really were lackluster. Because it wasn't even a fight. It was just two kids bickering at each other like, oh, you did this. Well, you did that. Well, I say we kill him and stab somebody. And that was it. That was it for 12 chapters. So that's my first gripe, is when the thick chapters had abundance of story. Like, there was so much being thrown at you. But the small chapters, the action scenes were so cluttered and crammed, you had no idea what the fuck was going on the entire time. My second problem with this was the art style. Now, mind you, I am a whore for the good 90s art style, the good old art style, because it's just a lot simpler. You can tell what's going on a lot better than you can in something that's made in the 2000s or the 2010s. It's a lot easier to depict whether it's a character or a monster or what the background looks like, because you got to remember, most manga is in black and white. So you're having a cunt of a time as it is trying to figure out what the hell's going on here. But this one, it looked like it started strong. It started with, okay, I can tell what's going on character-wise. I can tell what's happening. Easy. But as you get further on into the story, it's hard to depict what is a monster, what a monster from the background, water, plants, the school. It is such a pain in the cock to decipher what is what. And I wish it got better. It had a promising story. So those were my two main gripes. Now I'm going to go on to a major one. The story. The story deals around a classroom of kids who get teleported into the future through their school. Now, if you know me, you know I fucking hate time travel as a story aspect. It is such a lazy, piss poor story element in whatever I do. Everyone's gonna say, well, what about Back to the Future? Or what about jabronis are, what the fuck ever. I don't like time travel. It is lazy, and 9 times out of 10, it makes no fucking sense. And whoever writes with it thinks that they are God tier writers when it is used. And this is one of those moments where they thought writing God tier Back to the Future-esque stories was the biggest thing to ever happen since sliced fucking bread. It's not. The entire time you're wondering, okay, well, how did they get into the future? Which you don't find out they're in the future until what was it, chapter 30? You know, chapter 30 is when they find out, oh fuck, this is our world, but we're in the future. Like, no okay, how did you get to the future? Never fucking told. The only explanation, and this is what pissed me off, is we had an entire story of kids surviving in an apocalyptic wasteland of a future, and I was like, okay, all right, I'm down for that. That sounds like a good time. No, no. Because you wonder the entire time, well, how'd they get to the future? You know, was it some mythical fucking ray of sunshine that came down and blasted the school? Was it a curse made by a dead god from 50,000 years ago that nobody understood what happened until the last 10 chapters, when the god arises from the sands themselves and says, I have cursed this school and all the children within it, and they must perish in this future that I have made for them. Good story, right? Sounds like a great ending to. Sounds like it would be fun. No, it fucking science. Fucking science is what fucking time travel. How does it work? That's what it is. That was how they fucking described what happened. They described it as there was a big boom, and at that certain point of a boom, time travel. If you think I am joking, read this. I would love to say that my example right there of time travel or boom equals time travel, that's to a T how it is explained. And I hate it. I hate it so much, because once I heard it was time travel, my expectations were from right here to down here. And the story is so fucking jumbled. It's hard to tell what's what, because you go from the janitor who apparently works there to being a crazed lunatic that's just down to kill kids whenever. I mean, he's just like, you kids are brats. Stab. Oh, I remember you being mean to me. Stab. He just kills the kids. Then one of the big teachers, like, obviously he's a bad guy, so they're gonna put the janitor in a locker and be like, fucker, we got you. Now you're the only one killing us. Fuck you. One of the teachers end up being a serial killer and kills the other adults that got transported with him and the kids. It's a giant book of it's a giant series of who's gonna kill who. That's it. And I think there were so many upsetting things because there was so many people recommending this, and I was so excited to dive into it and see what the hype was about. But fuck me running sideways. There was nothing about this I took away from, except this was Lord of the Flies in a manga version. That's all it is. If you've read Lord of the Flies, you've read this. This just has pictures. All it is. The only difference is this has pictures to it. So you can kind of differentiate what's going on. But really, it's no adults, because in the first 10 to 15 chapters, all adults are dead. And the only adult that exists is the crazy fucking janitor that's stuck in the closet. The rest of it's just kids. So you have kids trying to survive in a barren wasteland when half of them are batshit crazy. The other half are like, okay, we need to think this logically. And then the last, 1% is like, well, yeah, we got nothing here, bro. So we're just going to follow whoever has the biggest self-made stone axe. That's how we're going to do this. We're going to follow them. They know what the hell's going on. We have no idea. We follow strong people. If you're not strong people, we no follow you. And the last part about the story that really bothered me is they never explain how these alien creatures they find came to fruition. They never explained it. They gave a tiny shred of story about them, and it was just, there's a mythical thing that popped out of nowhere, and the humans hid it. The humans buried it. So if the humans buried it, okay. This is where the headaches start reading in a story. The humans buried this first alien being. I get that. Cool. Let's expand on that. How'd they get here? What was their origins? all hail mighty alien. Then there's like 50 of them in an underground railroad that exists. Don't know how the rest of them came to be if the only one got buried. Never explained it. They explain that the earth turns into a barren wasteland because obviously humans are shit and polluting, destroying the earth, economic break, economic shattering. But beyond that, it's just the humans suck, and now bug aliens exist with eyes on their backs. And now I as I re-say this, I was thinking about this all day today. Well, because, you know, it is Weeb Shit Monday. And I was thinking, how am I going to talk about this and make it entertaining? And I looked at it from every angle, and I thought, there is nothing about this that would make me recommend this to anybody. I would not recommend this story. Now, if any of what I've said kind of tickles that little part of your brain that's like, oh, well, do it. Go and read it. Go and read it and give a judgment for yourself. But I will give this a 2 out of 5. And I don't care if some manga nerds come after me, like some old school ones, and say, well, he's the godfather of horror manga. Okay. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have Junji Ito. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have a lot of the horror manga we have today. I don't give a fuck. You can tell somebody they don't have a good story and not have to suck their cock simply because they've done this. And a lot of people take influence from it. And some people don't find it good. I'm one of those people. In 40 chapters, 43, excuse me if I'm going to get this right. In 43 chapters, you can't give me a good story. The artwork is kind of I'm not going to recommend this. This is low on the scale for me. And you included time travel, so that was already 2 points knocked off to begin with. So, Drifting Classroom, I would not recommend it to anybody. It's not even in my top 50. It's not even in my top 50 recommended. So, that sees where it lands on me. Everybody, thank you very much for listening to this episode of Weeb Shit Monday. I am your host, the Podcast Daddy. If you want to follow my slow decline into madness, please follow me on twitter.com/enoughsnuff. If you want to see this beautiful face every single day, go to instagram.com/podcastdaddy. I'm going to start streaming live on Twitch again, probably every night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to whenever the hell I want to go to bed. So that's twitch.tv/podcastdaddy. And if you want to listen to the audio version of this, go to any podcasting platform you listen to and just look up the Podcast Daddy Variety Show and you'll find me. Or if you want to watch the video of this and see my beautiful face yelling into a microphone, go to youtube.com/podcastdaddy and you will see it right there. Now, everybody, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to start telling you this at every episode. These are my opinions. If I don't like something, you may read it and you may like something. You may read something that you like and I think it's absolute trash. Or vice versa. I might like something and you might think it's straight booty hole. It's everybody's opinion, and that's why we're here. Thank you very much to everybody who listens. Have a great day. Have a wonderful night. And as always, because I know most of you don't, please, for the love of God, wash your balls.